Chopping it up with G and Z. Chopping it up. 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 Chopping it up with G and Z.
What's going on? Welcome to Chopping It Up with G and Z. I'm G. What's going on, Z? How's things going with you, brother?
Man, chilling, man. Ready to jump into this show, bro. There's a lot of stuff that happened, especially since we recorded, which is crazy because I feel like we just recorded a few days ago. But like, it's got a lot of stuff happening, man, and hopefully, like moving forward, man, we'll like every Monday we'll do this. That way, it'll feel like we're doing something new every Monday.
Yeah, I hear you. So the pop off of the weekend was we got a chance to pop in and watch the All-Star game. We reached that break time. This was a weird All-Star game, of course, because of COVID. Everything pretty much happened on one day. It wasn't like a full weekend All-Star. But what'd you think about the All-Star game, man, and everything that came along with it?
As far as the All-Star game, man, I was actually pleased with the All-Star game, man. Me and my wife sit and we watched it. I like the introduction. I guess you know what I'm saying. You get so used to like a artist doing the introduction and the dancing and stuff. So it wasn't that much this year, man. So you kind of missed that. But with the COVID protocols, you probably can't do that much. But I thought it was still cool. You can't have an NBA All-Star game without Common not saying something, and he showed up like as usual. I think the game was great. I think the 3-point contest was great. The skills competition, I've never been a big fan of it, but it is what it was. And I actually enjoyed the dunk contest, man. So I was actually cool with everything that happened as far as NBA wise for the All-Star game.
I'm actually surprised, man. I was actually the other way around. I thought the skills competition was actually pretty decent. I was actually surprised that they had the big men in there doing it. And I'm surprised that the big man even won it. But literally, to me, the game and the 3-point contest was really the highlight of the evening. I thought the dunk competition, this had to be probably the weakest dunk competition I've ever seen.
I'm going to tell you that you're a lie. There were probably some dunk contests back then. Like I want to say in the mid 2000s where they couldn't figure out how to do it before Blake Griffin got back in it, before they got the names back into it, when they were struggling with the, like between Sean Kemp and Blake Griffin, when they were struggling with how they were going to figure it out, how we were going to do it. There were a whole bunch of dunk contests back then that were like terrible. You remember like the dunk contest where the person tried like 15 times? I was like, really? Yeah. Come on now.
Yeah, I do remember that. But at the same time, I mean, I think that's the problem though with the dunk competition. Like, I mean, you're going to either actually have to get professional dunkers in there who can do, crazy stuff like we see on the internet, or they're going to have to get the big names to actually do it, because you trot out these cats who I didn't even know. The dude from Utah, who was it, from Utah or from the Suns? I can't remember where he was from, but
the dude from the Pacers.
I mean, you ever heard of him before? I never heard of him before.
He played for Duke though, didn't he?
G League too.
Yeah, he played for Duke though, like 2 years ago.
Okay, I'm not big on college ball like that,
but I'm not big either, man. But like, so for me, I don't know, man. Like I always, for me, I think I struggle with because I heard like Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless talking about it today. Then I seen everybody online talking about it or whatever. But what throws me off, man, is like, I don't think a lot of people understand how hard it is to dunk, right? So with that being said, when you talk about some of the things that were done yesterday, like, and first off, I also think the first dunk of the night was one of the best dunks.
Because he got,
it was one of the best dunks, and they misjudged it. So once they misjudged it, I think they messed up the players, because the players was like, well, that was amazing, and if that's what they're gonna give, I feel like it definitely threw him off, because he was never the same after the first dunk. And I think and if you know anything about street basketball, you know who Obi Toppin Sr. is. You know what I'm saying? You know who his daddy is. So he's from a dude who dunks. So I'm pretty sure he had something there. But when the little dude Anthony, bro, when he went and got that, when he placed the little goal up there, the first thing I looked at my wife and I said, that's 12 feet.
Yeah.
That's 12 feet. Let's
man.
not talk about anything else. This man jumped up 12 feet, grabbed the ball, and dunked it. That is one of the hardest, bro. And so that to me was amazing. That was amazing. Yeah. And then when he went up and he dunked it, I was like, man, he dunked that easy. And because you know what I'm saying, we win a Booker T, man, and everybody could dunk. So you know what I'm saying, you paid attention to certain things. So I always look at where a person's head is when they dunk. That's just something I naturally do. So when he went and dunked, I said, baby, look, his neck is almost above the rim. That is crazy. So I'm amazed right there. And then when he came down, he did the kiss. And I was like, did he just, and I looked at, I said, Alika, did he kiss the backboard? I mean, did he kiss the goal? And we was like, and then they showed the replay. And I was like, man, bro, I was cool. So, I was definitely cool with the dunk contest.
Don't get me wrong, man. Like I said, the dunks were, some of the dunks, high fly. The dude, the shorter dude who actually jumped like 12 feet and grabbed the basketball,
bro,
and the kiss the rim dunk. Don't get it twisted. Those are some decent dunks. But what I'm saying is, man, the lure of the dunk contest has always been get big names in there. And I mean, not even just big names, but like there's a certain aura of it, a showmanship of it. And you can get people to do some crazy dunks, and if they don't have that showmanship in it, you know what I mean? Like you get up there.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
The first dunk to me was probably one of the best dunks. The dude literally bounced it, went in between the legs, and then dunked it.
Yeah.
I mean, so we've seen in between the legs before from the free throw line. We've seen in between the legs, you know, grabbing it off of someone who's holding the ball up over somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen some of these dunks before, I guess what I'm trying to say. And I don't know, man, just the lure of it seemed to be missing. But I actually was a fan of, to me, I felt like Steph Curry took the All-Star day from him killing the 3-point contest, when it came down to just like the last three, that was dope. Yeah. And then also the actual All-Star game, him and Dame were, man, to me, they stole the show.
I honestly thought they were going to be co-MVPs yesterday.
Yeah, I think they should have. I don't think that the Greek Freak should have won MVP on that game.
I mean, and I'm like, you know, I'm not really mad that he won MVP, but I honestly, like my serious thought at the end of the game, I was like, okay, they're going to give them co-MVPs. There's just no way. But I think that's one of the things you run back into, man, when you continue to have the fans vote for everything, man, that it kind of gets that, like, who's the, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not what it used to be, man. So I honestly think too, man, like when you look at, I felt like, can we talk about All-Star snubs since we didn't really get a chance to talk about that?
Yeah, I think it's fact. I was going to ask you if there was anybody who should have been there, or if anybody you saw there that shouldn't have been there.
Man, I have nothing against Mike Conley, man, and I'm happy that he made it. But and I understand that he's the point guard on the best, you know what I'm saying? They got the best team in the league. So I understand that point. I don't think Mike Conley's better than Trae Young, though.
So you think Trae Young should have made it over?
Yeah, Trae Young was a starter last year. He was a starter last year in his rookie year. And then this year he don't even make it. And he's averaging like 8 points and 2 more assists than he averaged last year in an amazing rookie year.
So you know what I think is the reason why they didn't choose him was number one, the team's record. And
Bradley Beal is there though. That's what I'm gonna tell you too, though. Bradley Beal's record is worse.
That is true. But also there's some, I guess, how do you say it? Like questions around Trae Young and how he operates, sort of say.
I haven't heard anything. Like what do we mean?
You ain't heard it?
Nothing. No, man.
Oh man, I thought you would. Okay, so apparently, like, it's been no secret in Atlanta that he one of the reasons why the coach got the axe was because him and Collins and a couple of other cats, the young guys, really didn't like him. Period. The coach. You couple that along with how they lost, and on top of that, there was rumors came out that not even just rumors actually, but it was being verified that his teammates feel like he hogged the ball too much. And apparently there was one game where he did the Kobe thing where like before the game or prior to the next game, teammates got into it, was like, hey man, what I'm saying, you holding the ball too much, blah, 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 blah. The next game he goes out and he only takes like 2 shots. And what I'm saying, like it throws off the rhythm, everything. It's just there's bad stuff coming out, bad juju coming out from Atlanta right now, man. I don't know if Nate McMillan's gonna be able to right the ship. I don't know if they said that, Rondo has his ear about how to play and try to make his teammates better, but at the same time, man, like the whole team is sort of like built off of Trae Young, and
bro,
they're not winning. But if you look at their actual lineup, the roster, they got some pretty dang on good pieces, and they should be doing better than what they are. I'll put it that way.
I haven't heard that, man. I listen to a lot of stuff, and I'm not saying that it's wrong or anything, man. But what I can tell you is, though, man, he's played on teams. Even when he played in high school, there was a dude on his team who ended up playing for O State. And him and Trae Young got into it bad when OU and O State played just because the dude. But when I seen them play together, you could see the other dude was just jealous of him. And the dude was a senior, and Trae Young was a junior. You know what I'm saying? But his talent is his talent is so much greater than everybody else's that a lot of people are intimidated by it, man. I'm not gonna say that don't make him an all-star, man, because I could tell you plenty terrible stories about NBA players. I can tell you about terrible stories about NBA players we've met, people I saw in person, actual conversations with people. You know what I'm saying? So for you to tell me like, and not, and there's nothing like at you or nothing, man, but for somebody to say he didn't get because he's averaging like 28 points and 9 assists. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't tell me that's not all-star caliber. So to me,
I think he should be on the All-Star. I'm not saying he shouldn't. I'm just saying that's probably one of the reasons why they snubbed him.
I'm not,
because remember now, a lot of this has to come from the team. You know what I'm saying?
No, it don't. Though the fans vote you in, and then the players vote you in. So your players, you think about this: the players can vote in the reserves, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's only 12 players on the Atlanta Hawks team. And he ended up like close when it was on a player rankings. What threw him off was Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and what I'm saying, James Harden, all of them in the East now. You know what I'm saying? But to me, I just, what I'm saying, to me, I think he should have been there. And what I'm saying, like, bro, we done heard stories. You done heard stories about Michael Jordan. You done heard stories about Allen Iverson. You done heard stories about Dikembe Mutombo. Like, bro, we could go down the list about all these players we done heard terrible stories about. I'm not gonna believe that. And then the record, like I told you, with Bradley Beal, because Bradley Beal, man, and bro, it was amazing to have him in the game because you seen how good he was, especially when he was playing with good people. I was like, ooh, Bradley Beal is really good. I still think James Harden is like, after last night game, man, because he ended up being like 7 to 13 from 3. And it don't even seem like he was trying last night. Like he was just casually out there like, bloop, bloop, bloop. But he was 7 to 13 from 3 when we'll sit and talk about, like, because I think Dame and Steph Curry were both 8 for 16. Which is still 50%, and they were shooting from half court last night, which was stupid. Like where they were shooting from last night was crazy,
insane, man.
I was like, because I was looking at, we was watching the game, and I was like, baby, Damian Lillard. I was like, Steph Curry just hit a 3-pointer from half court, like regular half court, and then the next time down, Damian Lillard hit one. I was like, bro. Now that's stupid, right there.
When I saw that, and they were going back and forth with it, I was like, "Yeah, they are doing the most." So, man, who else do you think got snubbed out besides Trae?
To me, Trae was the biggest one, man. I would have liked to see. The crazy thing is because there's so many good teams in the West that you're always going to have people that's, you know what I'm saying, that'll get snubbed. And it always seems like based on who's there, because I still think, and I know he wouldn't have been there this year, but I still think CJ McCollum has not made an All-Star game yet.
I don't think so either.
Yeah,
I think
and that's crazy because he's
coming out from Portland.
Yeah, or think about Jamal Murray. You mean to tell me Joker deserves to be in the game and Jamal Murray doesn't?
Well, I mean, I think they're going because Jamal has been like, this has not been his best season. But we were expecting, based on the last playoff performances, you know, he hasn't lived up to the expectations this season. He's had some great games, but don't get me wrong. I mean, the dude can still hoop, but like it hasn't been consistent this whole season. But
I mean, I don't know their stats off front, but to me, like they're both the reason that Denver is good because they definitely lost a lot of people from last year. And you know what I'm saying? So my thing is like, what really? I think he's just as important as Joker. So and then for you to have three people from the Utah Jazz there, which I know one was a replacement, but it's like, is Mike Conley really that good? So I don't know. I think it was sort of a makeup.
I think it was sort of a makeup call for Mike Conley because there's some years he was with the Memphis that he should have actually made it. But I will say this, man, like I'm still a stickler for, I think that the roster needs to be 15 players from each conference. I do. I feel like that I mean, there's always going to be the snubs every year. You're going to feel like somebody should have made it who didn't make it. Somebody who's like, to me, I think Chris Paul shouldn't have been in this one, but it's
hard for him not to be in there when their team is doing. I mean, their team is second in the West. You know what I'm saying? It's that kind of thing.
But at the same time, where's Booker?
Booker was supposed to be there, but he hurt his leg, so that's why. Mike Conley actually got there. It's because Booker was hurt.
Yeah, but I mean, like they chose Paul before they chose Booker. You know what I'm saying?
Did they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Chris Paul was chosen before Booker. So, I mean, you know, there's always going to be the stubs bad, but either way, man, you know, I think I will say this. I think the NBA did a good job. I was not expecting it to be that entertaining, but I was entertained, I should say, by the All-Star game.
Okay.
So the game itself.
I'm looking at a list of All-Star snubs right now. And I agree with you. I thought the game was great. I thought the three-point contest was great. And I think that was partly because of Mike Conley, too. Mike Conley, I didn't know him to be – you don't think of him as a shooter. And for him to come out and put up, 28 the first time and 27 the second time, I was like, well, get out here and shoot then. Like, he's going to take full advantage of tonight.
Gave a run for the money.
Initially, the people that didn't get selected was Devin Booker. And this is like I'm looking on the undefeated, which I wouldn't suggest to anybody, but that's a whole nother story. DeMar DeRozan, Mike Conley Jr., De'Aaron Fox, Brandon Ingram, Trae Young, Bam Adebayo, Chris Middleton, Gordon Hayward, Tobias Harris, Fred VanVleet. We talked about Fred VanVleet just last week too.
Yeah.
And Sabonis. They got Sabonis on this list too, and he ended up making it though. But that's the list that I see for the snub. So what VanVleet been hooping this year, man. But it's hard when the Nets got 2 point guards for real.
Yeah, and that's another thing too, man. But I mean, we are getting into this whole positionless NBA. So I mean, I wouldn't mind it if somebody, you know what I'm saying, if you just had 3 point guards or 3 shooting guards or whatever the case is. But that was the best players go.
That was the lineup they killed in the game last night when they played Chris Paul, Steph Curry, and Damian Lillard together. I was like, oh, bro.
Yeah.
They were hooping. They were hooping. And then everybody called hoop. Everybody was catching oops. I was like, did Chris Paul just catch an oop? What?
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, bro.
Bro, it was back to back.
What?
Damian Lillard caught one first. Steph caught one next. And then Chris Paul caught one. And they were all through each other. I was like, oh, yeah, bro.
Y'all out here just doing the most.
But it'll tell you too, man, like my wife don't really watch NBA games at all. Like even in the playoffs or nothing. But every like All-Star games, she be in. She like I was starting yesterday. She's like, you gonna start the game without me? Just because when we were watching the game, she said it's so crazy to see these players play with other great players where they look comfortable. It don't look like they're struggling. You know what I'm saying? Like don't struggle. Like, bro, the Greek Freak looked like he enjoyed playing basketball last night, and you don't see that a lot from him.
Yeah. That is true, man. I think that's the reason why we have a team now. They figure they see how easy and fun it is to play with each other. Next thing you know, hey, you want to come on over here real quick?
Bro, who wants to struggle, man? Like, I know we talk about it all the time, and like, you know, the domino rule we talk about, like that I have versus what y'all have. You know what I'm saying? So like, y'all play this old, you know what I'm saying, the old man, whatever you get, you got to play with, and you just got to make it work. Which is, you know what I'm saying, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But the thing to me is like, man, I want to be able to play the best I can. And for me, that means I'm not playing with 4 doubles and we got 9, you know what I'm saying? I got 9 dominoes, I got 4 doubles, man. This is not gonna be cool. You know what I'm saying? So I mean 5, I'm sorry. So like more than half of my hand is doubles, man. So it's like, so and I think it's the same thing with KD when he's playing with Russell Westbrook. It's like, bro, I gotta go out here and score 35, 40. Then I gotta fight with you to try to get good shots or decent looks. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I could go to Golden State and they're gonna pass me the ball and they don't even care.
Hey, that's true. At the same time, man, I don't know. I like what the Greek Freak said about all that. Like he's willing to try to make his team better. He didn't want to go to a super team, even though it's probably gonna be the wrong thing because they ain't never gonna win in this age with all these super teams. But I actually I appreciate where he came from with that whole thing.
You know what I'm saying? I think it's kind of
like that old school.
But here's the thing though, and this is what I tell you. When I tell you Dan Marino is the best quarterback ever, what are you going to tell me?
He never won a Super Bowl, though.
That's the first thing you're going to tell me. If I tell you Karl Malone is the best power forward or Charles Barkley is the best power forward, the first thing you're going to tell me is you can't validate their career without a. And it's so crazy because the media forces us to be like, we can't validate this person. I can tell you Dan Marino was personally the best person I've ever seen pass a football. I don't care what time it was, what he did. You know what I'm saying? But since the media puts so much pressure on you winning a championship, so now the thing is like, so I can have this great career and not win the championship, and then y'all be like, well, you're Charles Barkley, right? Yeah. So what you force me to do is go and get a championship. So if I'm gonna go and get a championship, like you can't say both. You can't be like, hey, and then the thing is too, with the NBA, especially the NBA, you can be like Kevin Garnett, who deserved to be in the playoffs every year he was in the league, and Minnesota just be like, we ain't got no extra money to put no good players around you. That's not that player's fault. So to me, like that old school argument, I just want to get my team better or something, that's a foolish argument in this day and age, because what happens is you're going to play 15 years for the Bucks, and at year 15, they're going to be like, well, he ain't got a jump shot, and we can't do nothing with him, and then they're going to cut you, right? They're going to cut you, or you're going to be too old to go somewhere else where you could have been good and play with some better players. And now you're going to retire or be a journeyman. Might be Carmelo, where they be like, you can't even play in this league no more. And then you can't be in the NBA no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about all the terrible things that happen that shouldn't happen in the NBA, because these people are living off this old, like, I just want to be in the same place, when the owners don't do that. If Kevin Garnett wouldn't have got traded to the Celtics, because he only played 3 years with the Celtics, right?
Yeah,
bro.
He never would have won a championship,
and he looked terrible. Like that last year he played with the Celtics before he went back to Minnesota, he looked super old. He gave his whole body to Minnesota, man.
Hey, so speaking of giving your whole body and looking a little old, we found out today that Blake Griffin will be signing with the New Jersey Nets. The Brooklyn Nets, excuse me. I always want to say New Jersey. The Brooklyn Nets. Bro, so we talked about earlier today when the news came through. Real quick before we jump into the next topic, man, what was your thought process on it, man?
Bro, what I tell you is, personally, when I seen Blake Griffin, I was like, I don't think he's gonna be a good fit in Brooklyn. But the thing is too, though, like the way they're playing, man, and you never know when you playing around some other extra people, how good you might look, or like some different things that might come out your game that we never seen before. I still don't think he's a good fit, but I'm in a lot of sports groups on Facebook, and a lot of Detroit fans have said how good like he played before he got injured and how well he was playing before they pulled him out. So the only people that I continually hear say like it's a terrible fit is people like us who, well, I ain't gonna say us because you might watch him, But I honestly haven't seen Blake Griffin play since he played with Detroit. So I don't know.
So you haven't caught any Detroit games at all?
None. Not this year and not none before the bubble. You know what I'm saying? They went in the bubble last year, and I didn't watch none before the season ended.
Okay, so let me just say, man, like there's a couple of games that I actually caught Detroit playing. I caught them playing Chicago because I wanted to see Zach play, who I'm actually big on.
Yeah, me too.
I caught one game where they were actually playing Charlotte because I wanted to catch Charlotte, and I think I caught another one where they played the Celtics as well too. And man, so the big stat is out there about him dunking. Like he hasn't dunked in a couple of years. I don't really care about that stat, but when you look at him playing, Blake looks terrible on the floor. Like, how when we talked about Boogie Cousins, how Boogie actually had all those surgeries, and now you look at him on the floor and you're like, man, what happened to Boogie?
Yeah.
Like, you remember when he was just mopping up the league in Sacramento? He wasn't always, Boogie was never like
super
overly athletic.
Never.
But after the surgery, you were like, man, he looks old. Like he can't even turn right, or he can't run full speed down the floor. That's what Blake looked like. And so, his defense was already kind of scarce because he's an undersized, undersized power forward. But now, man, without the hops to go along with it, and he tried to actually get a 3-point shot going. He was shooting like 20% from the 3-point line. It just looked bad, man. It didn't look very good. So, I'm not too keen on this move unless there's some kind of rejuvenation sauce in the Nets where, now he's going to be working pick and rolls and he gets a fresh, because that's the one thing I will say about watching the Nets is every other player on the Nets besides the big three are getting open looks.
No, like wide open, like
wide open looks. Open. So, maybe, who knows, man? Maybe it will be good for him, but I just don't see it. I'm not too sure about this move. We're too keen on it. I know everybody named Mama heard about it and was like, whoa, it's over. The Nets are going to take, this is all they needed. I'm like, well, if you've actually watched Blake lately, but anyway.
I don't think Blake makes or breaks it for them. I honestly believe they don't need anything else right now to compete. I think DeAndre Jordan, if he's serviceable, if DeAndre Jordan can give you half a game, and Jeff Green is 6'10".
Yeah.
If Jeff Green could give you the other half, and DeAndre Jordan could give you the rest, I think they'll be fine. They're gonna play KD sometimes at the 5 because they'll play them short lineups. So the only problem I see with them, because I think DeAndre Jordan is good versus anybody in the league. You know what I'm saying? I think he can hold anybody in the league. Where the problem lies is if they play Philadelphia.
Yeah. And Philly, because Embiid will go ham down low. Period.
He's gonna eat them alive. Especially if he's playing like he's playing now.
Barbecue chicken. Hey, man, so man, I don't want to kill off on the NBA topics, man, but I just feel like if the Nets can give, like I said, they don't have to be the best on defense, but if they can, get some critical stops, because I don't feel like nobody going to be able to stop them. That's what I really feel like. If all three of those guys is humping, when KD gets back, that's just unstoppable, man, because you got to give up one person. You have to give up. Like, you can't just stack the whole team against three people and leave Joe Harris open all day long.
Yeah.
You see what's going on with that. He's shooting 50% from the 3-point arc. That's ridiculous. So, I don't know, man. I think that if they can just put in enough effort to hold teams to like 110, 115, they're going to easily outscore their way in. And like I said, we've never seen it before. We're used to seeing like a team that's balanced win the championship.
Yep.
The closest team that had like, offensive firepower with minimal defense was those Nash led Phoenix teams.
But they never made it to no finals.
And they never made it to the next. Yeah, they never made it. But this is different, man. This team is probably going to go down as the best offensive team we've ever seen. Besides, I think it'd be better than the Golden State Warrior teams.
I'm not gonna fuss against that. I would, if you ranked them 1 and 2, or you know what I'm saying, I'm not mad at that. But I'll tell you that Golden State team played defense where this team does not have that not capable of playing that defense.
Yeah. Trust me, they were top 10 defense. Mm-hmm. All right, man. So outside of the NBA, man, something else dropped. We talked about it last time we was on Chopping It Up, man. Coming to America 2 came out. Streaming near you.
On Amazon. Just on Amazon.
Just on Amazon. So, man, I think I watched it the same night. You watched it the same night it dropped?
Yep.
Yeah. What'd you think, man? What's your give me your score and then tell me, like, if you're gonna rate this between a 1 and a 10, you know what I'm saying? What would you rate it at?
I gave it a 7.5.
7.5?
Yep, I gave it a 7.5, man. I think they did a great job of making a sequel to a movie that was originally made not to have a sequel. You know what I'm saying? There was nothing, because there was really no way. Because when I heard they were doing Coming to America 2 and it was going to be about his son, I was like, how do they even fit that in? You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And then so when we started watching the movie, man, and they fit it in, I was like, all right, that's a stretch, but okay, I can see that makes sense. But man, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say, so you gave it a 7.5 though. That's still pretty good.
I thought it was, man. I thought if it would have been just a standalone movie and we wouldn't have knew the backstory, it would have been cool. I think it would have been cool. But I think what happened to me, especially for me, was to see so many of the appearances from the people that were in the original movie, right?
Oh,
and the way they continued to tie the people into the funeral.
Mm-hmm.
The King's funeral was amazing to me. Them to have the lady like bark like a dog, for her to be back in there like barking. Yeah. Wesley Snipes. I don't know what Wesley Snipes and Eddie Murphy got going on together, but they work well on films together. Like the Dolomite movie, they did good together, and they did good on this movie too. So that was amazing.
So man, I actually gave it a 6.5 out of 10. And I didn't like the precept, the concept of the movie. I thought was Eddie Murphy's son.
But it was gonna be a stretch though, man. And so that's the thing.
Yeah. And on top of that, like, I wasn't really a big fan of the son's because he played a big part in the movie.
Yeah. And
I just really wasn't feeling his performance or his art, whatever you want to call it. I just wasn't feeling that. So I mean, I understand where they were going with it. That was just for that to be like the main part of the movie, and for that to not fall through, to me, made it a 6. The only thing I really liked about the movie, again, was the casting. I felt like this movie was more of a celebration of coming to America. But even, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it was a celebration of the first movie, something to make you feel nostalgia about it. You know what I'm saying? And I loved us in the movie. Man, when I say black don't crack, bro.
But then like, that's why I would say, like, then why would you give it a 6.5 then?
That's the only reason I'm giving it a 6.5.
But I think number one, those reasons
because number one, man, the first thing I always look for on an Eddie Murphy movie is to make me laugh. And I'm sorry, but there was too many dry parts. I didn't laugh really. I didn't have one of those breakdown laugh moments like an Eddie Murphy movie usually would lead me to have. So it wasn't very funny to me. And it's just me personally. I mean, somebody else may be like, oh, man, I laughed. Right, okay. Well, I didn't laugh.
Okay.
So that to me already took it down to almost a 5. The only thing that kept it going to me was the parts that I just mentioned, man. Like, I thought it was a good representation of us. And I love the casting. I love, man, it had everybody and their mama in this movie. So I mean, I'm cool about that. But that's really all I can give it, man. I mean, it was great to have that nostalgia feeling and to see like some of the old clips they put forward. The barbershop scenes came back. The preacher came back. The end. I mean, like, so I mean, like some of that stuff was cool and nostalgic. It didn't make me laugh again, but it was. Like I said, man, that's all I took from it. I wouldn't even watch it again. Put it like that,
bro. I don't watch it 3 times though.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, I don't watch it 3 times now though, but just because it was so much stuff. It was so many like little hints and little things that they did that they tied stuff up to that I don't think a lot of people seen at the you know what I'm saying, to the thing. Like, so like, did you see like when they was in the and they was in the McDowell's and the ice cream machine work?
Yeah.
Right.
They made a point to show that.
Right. But then did you see too that he was at a St. John's game? That's where he found the son at. Because you remember they was at a St. John's game when the dude found him in the hallway and he was like, King. And he was
my king.
Yeah, you remember the bad date with the daughter and everything?
Yeah.
That was at a St. John's game. So you know what I'm saying? It was so many little things in there like that. I was like I gotta go and watch it again. And then, man, it's just, to me, I think I you know I'm a big Eddie Murphy fan though. So I think he did well. I think there was parts of the story that was like, and I'm not a fan of Leslie Jones. I'm not a fan of Leslie Jones at all. But I think she wasn't even her over the top like she usually is. So man, like in Tracy Morgan, Arsenio Hall, man. When I seen Rick Ross in the movie, I said, Rick Ross, what? Rick
Me
Ross.
Me too. I was like, is that
Tiana
Rick?
Taylor? Like Tiana Taylor, I didn't know that was coming too. So Romani was in the movie too. Or Romini, you know what I'm saying? The dude from Power.
Dude from Power.
Yeah, he was in the movie. Michael Blackson when he did the introduction. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like,
and you know what? Actually, I thought some of the best parts of the movie was the scenes with the only scenes like I kind of wish, and tell me if I'm wrong or not, but I wish that Wesley would have did, instead of trying to be a little bit more funny, I wish he would have did like a little bit of a Nino Brownish Eddie.
Nah, but I think it was funny
you
though.
Know what
too,
I mean?
like when he danced at the wedding,
when he danced,
or when
in.
You remember when they at the beginning when they first came and Michael Blackson gave the intro about him, and the dudes were doing all the things, and the thing came, and then it was him down the side, and he did the walk down. I was dying. So like, to me, man, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. Online, what I've seen is like there's a big, like there was a lot, like the first day it was a like over amount, like a outpouring of people being like the movie was terrible, I hated it, it was this and that. And then so what I seen, like, and that was the first day, but then every day since there I've seen more posts where people have been like, what were y'all expecting, or where were y'all so and so, what did y'all think this was gonna be? Like the thing that the Time posted where the dude was like, bro, Coming to America is a once in a lifetime thing. He caught fire and he caught lightning in a bottle. You know what I'm saying? This right here it's a sequel. It's just gonna be a celebration of so and so. It's, you know what I'm saying? And everything that I've seen so many people post like Coming to America was great, and I don't see what, you know what I'm saying, that kind of thing. So it's been crazy to kind of see how it was like a backlash, and then that was like an outpouring of support for it. So it's kind of weird to kind of, because I don't, but you know, everybody gets something different out of movies. So I don't know what everybody was going in for. I didn't think it was going to be better than Coming to America. I didn't think it was going to be, I didn't think there was no way that Eddie Murphy could go in there and give me Coming to America, Life, Harlem Nights, nothing like that. So my expectations weren't like that.
Well, okay, let me give you a good example. A good example of what I was sort of expecting. Like, you remember when Bad Boys for Life came out?
Yeah.
Will Smith and Martin Lawrence.
Yeah.
And it had been what, like 10 years or whatever since Bad Boys, which I didn't even like Bad Boys 2, but
I didn't either.
But Bad Boys itself, when it came out, like that was a hit.
I didn't really care for it though. I didn't really care for none of the Bad Boys though.
Okay. But all I'm saying is, like, Bad Boys, the first one, like, was a classic in many people's book.
Yeah.
I didn't go into Bad Boys for Life expecting a classic. Yeah, but they made a great, like, movie.
I honestly think Bad Boys for Life is better than all the other ones.
I do too. I'm just saying, like, that.
But I think that's an accident. Good. I don't think there's no way that was possible. I didn't think they was going into that. I think that was a pure accident, because there were so many delays in the movie and so many because the director had changed a few times, and then like Will Smith wasn't gonna do it at some point. You know what I'm saying? So like to me, I that happened by pure luck. And if even if you think about how they did the promos up to it, it was like we're just doing this the last time to go out, and then once it did so good, they was like, oh, we're gonna do a 4 and a 5. Yeah, so I don't think nobody expected that to be like it is.
Yeah. But what I'm saying though, man, is like you see how an expectation can be like met. Like they met a good expectation in that movie. It wasn't because I mean people weren't going into. I know I wasn't going into it feeling like okay, this is going to be an instant classic like the first one. But it's going, we're gonna have that little nostalgia moment that here goes Martin Lawrence and Will Smith back on screen together. And I felt like this could have been that same type of film. Like, okay, Arsenio Hall and Eddie Murphy are back on film together. You know what I'm saying? Make it do something.
But they're also 55 now. They're not like Will Smith.
I get it, man. I'm just saying you can still make a good movie.
I think it's the expectations, man, and I think that's different people had different expectations, and I think that's how people see it in light of the expectations. Like you said, the Bad Boys movie. I went into that, and I was like, because I didn't really like the other Bad Boys, but I think also too though the Bad Boy movies we could talk about that was like a 10, 12 year, you know what I'm saying, hiatus.
And this was
where
20,
Coming to America 30. Bro, Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall ain't nowhere close to the same people they were then. You know what I'm saying?
No, I mean don't get me wrong, man. Like I don't. See, my thing is, man, I'm not to where I want to bash the movie because there were some great things I felt like about it. Like I said, the nostalgia it brought back, the casting, all that I thought was great. Yeah. So I won't bash the movie, but I won't sit here and over glamorize it and say this was the best thing ever. Yeah, blah 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 blah. It's the highlight of my year to watch this Coming to America 2 came back. I'm not gonna do that.
I don't think nobody's done that though. I think what the problem is, where the problem, especially when you come to this, is like most people who you've known liked it was like, yeah, this is a good movie, or you know what I'm saying, I enjoyed the movie, I laughed the whole movie. I haven't heard nobody been like, this is a masterpiece or this is a classic. But on the other hand, what I have seen is people been like, this is terrible, it's trash. I turned it off in the first 10 minutes of the movie. You know what I'm saying? I seen a lot of things and I was like, bro, this is, I don't know what they seen because initially, like even them just starting the thing, when I seen, I'm going to call the lady from Jamie Foxx show, because I cannot pronounce her name to save my life. Garcia Bavo, who was fancy on, but she was the main flower thrower in the first movie. Yeah. So as soon as the movie opened and I seen her, I was like, oh, I'm in. So I was good from that moment because everything just lined up. And I was like, bro, I'm good with this. You know what I'm saying? So I think that might be the difference, man. But I also think too, though, man, like we're in a society now, man, where people I don't think people have like like it's either instant, like you hate it or you love it, man. And I think most of the times we get to a point where, man, people make so many, like once you hear people say it's bad, then you kind of be like, well, it's bad. You know what I'm saying? And you don't give it, because that last Denzel movie, did you see it?
No.
Why didn't you see it?
The little things. Why
didn't you see it?
I just haven't had time to. I mean, I've heard mixed reviews on it, of course, but I just haven't had time to go watch it. Plus, man, I haven't really been wanting to. Something weird about a Jared Leto killer. Just let me go watch the Joker first with him. I'll get back to that movie.
I don't know, man. To me, it's just like I didn't watch it, but I had heard so many people say it was terrible that I was like, man, I'm not watching it. And then it's like we talked about the Wonder Woman too. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like it's terrible. I was like, it's better than the
movie was terrible though.
It was better than
to
the first
me.
That
was terrible.
And people love the first one. I was like, how y'all love this first Wonder Woman when it was terrible?
I didn't actually even like the first one like that. I thought the first one was.
They were like the first Wonder Woman was amazing. I was like, I don't know what movie y'all watch.
I don't either. Like even when Wonder Woman, the regular one, the first one, comes on regular TV right now, HBO or whatever, I'm like, skip.
This Zack Snyder cut of Justice League is gonna be 4 hours, and it's gonna be terrible. Watch it.
Why, dude? So Zack Snyder has not.
Nothing.
What's the last good Zack Snyder movie?
You tell me.
Period.
You tell me.
I may be the only person who liked it, but I thought The Watchmen was decent. Like if you watch the oh god, it's like the not the theatrical one, but the director's cut one. I'm not even. I didn't even know. I didn't know anything about the Watchmen, so I don't know. I mean, I
You talking about the Watchmen with the British, like
the blue guy, the big blue guy.
Yeah.
It's kind of what was based on the Watchmen series.
Yeah.
So, but the Watchmen series was more, I guess, true to the comic. But I don't know. Either way, man, I like that movie, but I felt like he tried to make the Justice League that movie or super. I don't know, man. But anyway, I haven't liked anything DC's done besides that, and I like the first Superman decently, Man of Steel. It was cool. It wasn't.
I hated the villains in it. I hated that they made the villains. Was it Zorg?
Oh yeah, the Zod villain.
Zog. Yeah. I hate they made that the villain of the first one because I seemed like it had an opportunity for them to figure out something, and they just like they chose the worst villain. And I feel like that's the same thing that happened in the Justice League. I feel like that's the same thing that happened. Well, Wonder Woman's actually this last villain was all right, man. But I think they've made bad choices in most of all of these DC movies, man. And which is crazy too, is because the DC TV shows are actually better.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, it's the weird stuff, dude. I don't know.
Bro, do you watch Black Lightning?
Man, I watched the first season of Black Lightning.
Okay.
And then when they had the whole Black Lightning family is when I kind of tuned out of it.
But that's how it was in the comic books, though.
I get it, I guess. But I never read the comics though. So I didn't know.
Yeah.
But once the daughter started having powers and all the other people, I was like, oh, okay. So the Black Lightning and Team Family Lightning.
Bro.
It didn't catch on to me, man. But I heard these last seasons were good. So
I just finished the second season. I'm about to start the third season, man. It's some points in the movie that are very DC. I mean, in the TV show that's very DC movie. Like, when's the last time you watched the Justice League? Have you watched it over again?
Man, dude, I watched the Justice League 2 times, and the second time I was more disgusted than I watched it the first time.
Agreed.
So that was the last time I watched it.
I believe it was. I've seen it on TV like a few times the last few weeks, and I'm pretty sure they're preparing for this Zack Snyder cut. And every time I try to watch it, man, I'd be like, "This is terrible.
It's garbage.
Like,
garbage."
See, and that's like to me, man. Like when I'm thinking about Coming to America, and I'm thinking about Justice League, I would be like, I will tell you one is like. I could watch Coming to America. I would watch Coming to America every day for a month before I had to watch Justice League again.
I can understand that.
It was terrible. The Cyborg. I was like, what are they doing with his body? First off, and I know this is not our topic, man, so I don't want to. But bro, the Flash. Did you see the Flash running?
Yeah,
he was running like. I was like, bro, this is terrible. Like, what is this? Like, he was off balance. Like, bro, the Flash is supposed to hurt himself. All right, I'm sorry. My bad. That's all I had. I apologize.
Man, there was only like one scene in that whole movie that was actually decent, and that's when they all tried to beat up Superman. That was it.
Oh, or that I give you that. It was probably but when Superman was beating them all up, that was probably the only scene. That was probably the only
scene where I was like, okay, this is cool. I like this. All right. But other than that, I was like, this is terrible.
Agreed.
Everything from the 1989 CGI to the
Cyborg's body was terrible, bro. I was like, oh.
Anyway, man.
I'm sorry, my bad. That was on me. I apologize.
Dude. So, man, besides watching new movies, man.
You still ain't watched the Billie Holiday, did you?
No, I still haven't seen it, bro.
Bro.
Well, Coming to America came on, so I had, man, that took up pretty much the movie watching I had all weekend. That and the All-Star game. Man, but what's been in the news lately? Let's chop it up about some news, man, because we got some big things happening in America, actually. So well, I guess, dude, we can, before we get into the stimulus and what just passed, man, I guess the big news right now is the interview that Oprah did with the Duchess and the Prince. Will you have a cup of tea? So man, So I guess, man, I haven't really been following any. I never follow any of this stuff, dude. I never do. But this is so big. I guess this made national news. But the one thing that I actually saw that blew my mind, it didn't blow my mind because it's one of those things where I'm like, okay, yeah, that sounds about right.
Yep.
So she told Oprah that that there was some concerns about how dark the baby was going to be that they had together.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, like, dude, it's crazy how when people hear about it, people be like, I cannot believe that they could even think that that happened. How is that even possible? Like, we just be sitting back like, so y'all don't know people racist like this? We know. So catching y'all by surprise.
I'm trying to wait. Go ahead and do your thing because I'm trying to
go
wait
ahead, man.
Go ahead, bro.
Because I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
So, me and my bro, we married, man. So most of our life is spent with our wives. So let me just throw that out there. So if I continue to say me and my wife, that's what it is. So me and my wife are sitting here. We were watching something and they said something about the interview. And I said, what do you feel about this interview? She was like, tell me what's shocking. I was like, honestly, that's the same way I feel about it. This is a white family who walk around who are kings and queens and duchesses and princes and princesses. Bro, so they're a royal white family. How do you think they see black people? As servants. That's probably the only black people they've ever been cool with in their entire life has been servants. They do not see black people as regular people. Now, somebody could tell me different and I could be wrong, because just like you said, I don't follow it either. But my thing is, we seen Black Lives Matter protests in England, right? Like we've seen in Europe too. So black people are getting treated bad in Europe. So it ain't like it's special. Like the queen treats black people special because she's the queen. She looks like she don't like black people. Then so the thing that'll tell me too is like, how much are y'all worried about how dark this child could be when this is the lightest black lady ever? Bro, you can't expect her to have but that'll tell you how racist somebody is too, because she done had this light. She is super light, because you have to really look at her and be like, is she really black? Like she can't be all the way black. You know what I'm saying? But if you look at her.
But you remember when they got engaged, like some of the memes that was coming out was hilarious.
Bro, but so the thing is too, like if you see this girl and you see him, you can know this baby is gonna look it's almost the old school thing we said, like passing. This baby is gonna pass. I don't care. This baby's gonna have blue eyes and light skin. The only reason that you know this baby is black is if you've seen this mama and her hair wasn't done like it was supposed to be. But there's no way you can see this baby and be like, this baby is black. So when I seen the thing about the skin color, and I seen the thing about, you know what I'm saying, the racism, and then they was like, so she was abusing. One of the reports I seen was like she was abusing the staff, and they was like, so what was the abuse? They was like, she was emailing them early in the morning. That's the abuse. That's the abuse we're talking about. So to me, it was obvious. It's a racist situation, and you can continue to look at it however you want to, or I assume it's a racist situation, and nothing about me shocks it, because it seems like this is the first black person in a white family that's been white forever. This is how they'll act, and the difference is they're royal, and we're seeing it on TV. But this happens in America or across the country or across the world every day. When somebody brings a black person home, this is what they go through. And we're just seeing it on a royal scale.
What's that old movie with Sidney Poitier?
Guess who's coming to dinner? Yeah,
bro. And she was coming to dinner. Yeah, ain't nothing different,
bro.
Man.
She's not, bro. This is not.
She's not like it's not like she's Shaka Khan or
Tashina Arnold or Fantasia. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, she's pretty, and I'm, you know what I'm saying. And not to say that Fantasia or Tashina Arnold, them ain't pretty either. But you didn't bring home who LL Cool J was talking about in Around the Way Girl. No. Yeah, you didn't bring home one of them. You didn't bring home.
But like according to her, like the press over there has been, you know what I'm saying, on her like that.
They have, but the press is racist here. Why do we expect more out of and I don't want to sound like that, man, but why do we expect more out? They're racist white people. I don't care where they are and what kind of accent they have.
True enough. Anyway, so I figured I at least got to bring that story up because it's everywhere. It was everywhere, and I'm thinking, okay, isn't there more important things going on in the world? Do they have something to do with the United States? No, they don't. Anyway,
but you know, the crazy thing is their wedding was one of the most highly televised things in this country.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the obsession is about it. I'm definitely gonna reach out to some of my homegirls tomorrow or homeboys.
It's something about royalty, and it's something about like them marrying
black
outside
royalty,
of
probably
that lineage.
like or probably her being like a black queen or a black whatever. But this is all I want to say before I get off of it. Somebody said they treated Princess Diana terrible, and she was white.
Oh yeah.
That's it. That's all I got. They said somebody post. I seen that posted today, and I was like,
well.
Mm. Yep.
So what is important to us? Excuse me. What is important to us is there is actually also in the news a stimulus package that has passed.
Yeah.
So it finally made its way through. Well, you know what? Before I even say stimulus package, I want to make sure I get everything right because I was looking at this thing. I was trying to actually find as much as I could on the final bill that passed.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's so hard to find just
the facts. Yeah.
The facts, man. It is ridiculous just to try to find like, okay, what exactly is the facts? You know what I'm saying? What? And so, hold on, let me try to pull this up, bro.
I used to have an app that would break down bills. What is that app called? But it would break down bills that'll tell you what was approved, what was in the bill.
Yeah. So apparently, like, there's there's a couple of things. There's $1,400 checks that are going to be coming out for individuals making less than $70,000. It looks like, and families making less than 150.
Was it 70? I thought it ended up being 80.
70. I think that's what they finished up.
Finally, up 70. Okay.
Yeah. It started off a little bit more in the House, but then the Senate, of course,
yep.
They tried to get Republicans on board, and none of them voted for it. So
they should have just left it at 80.
They probably should. Well, no, there's some moderate Democrats, Joe Manchin and Christian Sillibrand. I can't really say her name right. Those are the moderate Democrats.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Joe Manchin, who's the senator from
West Virginia. But his people came out and was like, I don't know what's wrong with him, but we need that money. Did you see? That's why he ended up changing his vote. It's because his people was like, who is he representing? Because we broke.
Yeah, he's trying to actually toe the line between, because his state is like a very purplish, reddish state.
They're going to vote him out.
He tries to toe the line between Republicans, and of course, the Republican talking points are always anything that goes for regular normal people is going to hurt business or whatever the case is. So
ain't no businesses in West Virginia. All they got is Hatfields and McCoys. I'm sorry. That was terrible. I'm sorry.
That was terrible. Anybody watch from West Virginia, we apologize. All right. So there's also the extended there's extended relief for jobless benefits. So the $300 extra per week, I think it is.
Okay.
There's $350 billion going to states. And that's for the states that have suffered a lot of financial and budget impacts because of COVID, because when businesses close, they can't pay taxes. Therefore, the states don't get enough money. And the states have been paying out of the wazoo for all of the COVID stuff that's been going on that the federal government has not been giving them. So plus some of that's going to be, I think, 15 billion, or part of that 300 billion is going to be going to schools to try to open up with COVID, which I think a lot of schools need anyway, though, because dude, travel to some of these schools out here, man, and they need some new air conditioning units. You know, they got musty air in there and all kind of stuff, dude, like mold in the walls. Come on, man, we need to update this. And then part of that is actually going to be see, there was $30 billion for states and local governments, something else in here. I can't remember what else it was.
So it's 350 million. It's 300 billion for the states, and then an extra 30 million for like government, or 30 billion for the government.
For the states, state and local was 30 billion, and then there was another like 15 billion, I think, for schools.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was a separate part.
Did they extend the landlord no eviction thing?
Oh, yeah, the moratorium on evictions.
Yeah.
And also, excuse me. There's a couple more millions for the COVID vaccine rollout.
Okay.
So they're putting more money into the rollout for the vaccines.
Good.
So which we're gonna need, since Texas is saying they ain't need no mask no more.
Mississippi
anyway,
Mississippi too.
Yeah. So basically, man, that has now passed, and I think Joe Biden's gonna probably sign that within the next day or so. They don't know. I don't know how long it's gonna take for those checks to process, but again, if you get a check, there you go. Yeah. Check coming. Good for you. Roll with it. I'm hoping, and one of the things that did get taken out of the bill was the minimum wage increase.
Yeah.
So
I hate
anyway,
that,
man.
I hate
what do you think about the bill, and then what do you think about the minimum wage increase, bro? Do you think it should actually get passed or what?
Bro, the thing is, for me, like, I understand $15 is a lot, you know what I'm saying? Which is unfortunate, you know what I'm saying? But I understand, especially if you're like a, you know what I'm saying, a small business or something like that, man. I know going somebody from $7 an hour to 15 is a big jump. I understand that, so I'm not mad at that part. But what I am mad at is they say in order for you to live above the poverty line, you have to make $11 an hour, right? They like, I mean,
the poverty line?
I believe it's $11 an hour, and that might be depending on where you are. But
okay,
like,
I was gonna say, yeah, I'm pretty sure maybe in some parts, but
I'm gonna tell you what, in Austin, Texas, $15 an hour is not gonna do anything for you. In Washington D.C., in New York City, in Miami, Florida, you know what I'm saying? LA, like these places, Seattle, like, bro, $15 an hour is not gonna do anything for you. And I can tell you, man, I sit way above $15 an hour where I work at right now. And where I'm sitting at, man, I don't even see how people make it at $15 an hour. You know what I'm saying? With a family of 4, and you know what I'm saying? I got a wife and 2 kids, man. And I'm like, bro, $15 an hour, what would I do? You know what I'm saying? $15 an hour, I would have to work another job making $15 an hour for another 40 hours a week for me to provide decently. You know what I'm saying? So I think with the price of living so high that it has to be higher than $7.25. I don't know if $15, you know what I'm saying? I'm not an economist. I can't tell you if $15 is the answer, but I can tell you $7.25 ain't.
Yeah, man. Dude, I just feel like, so when the last time that the minimum wage got increased was back in the 90s.
Was it? Yeah, maybe like 92.
In the 90s.
91, 92? Yeah.
And I think it went from like $5 an hour, $5.25 an hour, something like that.
Yep, I remember it went from $5.25 to $7.25.
Yeah, I do remember that happening. And the only reason I remember that happening is because I think that was right at the time when I found another job in high school.
Or we were just about to start working. Yeah, wasn't it like we were just starting working or something like? Well, not 92.
No, because my first job was actually, I think I worked at a Subway in East Lamar.
Whoa.
For like 2 weeks. But as soon as they told me to mop a floor, and I was like, man, what? It didn't work out too well.
Hey, man, not to segue on your thing, man. One of the stories I tell people all the time is like my second job was at McDonald's. I worked at McDonald's with Christy Stokes. I don't know if you remember Christy Stokes, Big Odell's sister, Christy. Yeah. So she was like, come to McDonald's, they hiring, blah, blah, blah. And I had just lost the job. So I went to McDonald's and I started working at 8. And at 12 o'clock, you know what I'm saying? 12 o'clock, I'm like, oh, it's lunchtime. And the lady was like, you can't have a lunch. And I said, I can't have a lunch. She was like, no, it's the busiest part of our day. You can have lunch after the rush is over. Man, I decided at that moment,
I don't want
not coming back. Yep, man. I took my lunch, made like 15 Whopper, Big Macs, and I was in the kitchen experimenting with McDonald's sandwiches. But I never came back, and everybody. And then when I tell the story all the time, people be like, "You didn't come back because they didn't give you lunch at 4 hours." I was like, I didn't know that at that point. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, just like you said, they told you had to mop, and you was like, I'm out of here. I think one of the things is black people, maybe not black people, that might be just a thing for people in general. There is no lessons that they tell you, like, hey, when you go to a job, this is what you could expect to do at a job. They're going to ask you to mop. You might not get lunch in 4 hours. You might not, you know what I'm saying? Think about how many jobs you either messed up or left because they didn't do something that you saw fit, that once you got older, you was like, oh, that was terrible.
Hey, man, I was supposed to be a food preparer. Yeah, I ain't supposed to be mopping. I was supposed to put your bologna on there and the ham and cheese. What? That a mop? You tripping?
All right, but so back to the bill. I'm sorry. Back to so minimum wage. Yeah, where are you at? Minimum wage.
So, man, my thing is this, man, is like, I don't know what the minimum wage should be either, but I do know it needs to be increased.
Agreed.
I'm not looking at it like just increasing the minimum wage will help the people who are on minimum wage right now.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people will come back and say, well, you know, those are just college students or kids just needing to make an extra buck that work in the, fast food industry. And I'm like, well, honestly, it's not just the fast food industry that gets affected by the minimum wage increase.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because usually what will happen is when the minimum wage increases, guess what else increases? Everybody else's wages are going to have to end up going up.
Yep.
And so, we're going to be beneficiaries of it too. The one thing that they are kind of afraid of, and they always say this whenever the government spends massive amount of money, is that there may be inflation coming. And like I said, I'm not an economist, so
it has never stopped inflation before. Like everything else we've done caused inflation too. So like, do we not help people because of inflation?
Yeah, my thing is this, man, is like, so when the Republicans took over the House and the Senate and the presidency, they passed $1 trillion in tax cuts.
Yeah.
Not for us, not for your average Joe Schmo. I had people at my job telling me, well, I got a tax break. I'm like, man, you must have seen something I don't see, because I mean, it may have been like a measly $20 a paycheck.
But you know, it
wasn't a lot.
But you know, you at your job, man, you got to think at your job is a good job. And then imagine them people that have been at your job for like 20 or 30 years and the salary they might be seeing. Right?
Bro, we still to this day, I still don't know what kind of tax cut they've seen. No. Now, if you were making like, you know what I'm saying, $500,000 and you got money wrapped up, you know, half of your wealth wrapped up in stocks, then yeah, I can understand that. But for the average Joe, dude, again, 70% of the people in the workforce, you know what I'm saying, are under this $250,000, or families or everybody else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's never been a bill, I don't think, meant for the average American. I feel like most of the time the government is pushing, you know what I'm saying, legislation to help
them and they people, the lobbyists, the people that put money in their pocket, those people.
Exactly. So the banking, you know what I'm saying, the banking industry, the market industry, you know what I'm saying, the people who are used to the doubt, they're the people who are up there on Capitol Hill saying, we need this, we need this, we need this. I don't remember the last time I saw an interview where a lobbyist was somebody making $12 an hour up on Capitol Hill saying, hey, we need to do something about these people making $12 an hour. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed. Because they don't have money. They don't have money to spend for that.
And they don't have time to do that.
Yeah, because I'm working two jobs. I'm working at McDonald's and Burger King.
Exactly.
It's real.
But no, man, I just feel like it's a necessity, man. I feel like the government needs to get back to being of the people, for the people. And that's for everybody. You know what I mean? So,
but back to so overall on the bill, man, I think this is a decent amount of money for the stimulus. You know what I'm saying? Like, but what I will tell you is too, though, like, think about this. So this is coming up on a year. We're pretty much at a year of us being shut down, right? So what you mean to tell me is, if I've kept my job at a reduced amount, let's say I kept my job, man, but I've kept my job enough where I can't get unemployment, right? Or even if you gave me unemployment, man, because people were talking about this unemployment, and I'm like, so they were giving people $600 extra a week. Well, so you're gonna give me $600 extra a week plus this $230 unemployment check I'm gonna get, right?
Yeah.
Or 250 or two, you know what I'm saying? Once they take taxes out of that, I'm gonna end up with like $700 a week, $650 a week, $650.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? $650, $600 a week. That's gonna be $1,200 every 2 weeks, $2,400 a month, bro. That's not gonna have you living the life. You know what I'm saying? And these Republican senators like, well, people don't want to go back to work because they're getting all this money.
I don't want to be
$2,400, bro. Do you know how much? So just think about this, because this is one of the things that I didn't see until like 2 months into the pandemic. Your children aren't going to school anymore, right? So now your children are eating everything at home. Your lights are on all day now. Your air conditioner is running all summer. Your heater is running all winter because you're at home all the time. These computers are on all the time. We're recharging everything all the time. So your bills have increased. You know what I'm saying? Your grocery, your water, your everything has increased. So you mean to tell me $2,400 is enough for me to pay for extra when I was barely surviving? You know what I'm saying? With the $2,700 I was making when I was employed. So the thing is like, bro. And then I said it all to say this: the federal government at this point will end up giving us this will make it like $3,200 for a whole year,
which is crazy because there's other countries when COVID first started and they had to shut down and all these jobs just started falling off. There are other countries who guaranteed like $3,300 a month. Canada, and continue to pay
Denmark,
out, and continue to pay out. But
they set up legislation that was like, we're going to pay this amount of money every month
until all this thing is
over. And you keep on telling us this is the greatest country on the earth, or the greatest country on the world, the richest country in the world. But we have not helped our people the way we were supposed to at all.
No. You know, it's kind of weird, man, because like I said, we've never had legislation that actually, I'm gonna give Joe Biden credit for this. We've never had legislation in the past. I mean, even when Obama was in office, he used up so much of his presidential capital on trying to get the economy out of the wazoo that it was in, that he really couldn't do anything else after that. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't even get a bill to try to do the roads and bridges anymore after they spent all that money trying to get everybody, the banking system where it was.
And all the bailouts they was doing.
Yeah, all the bailouts that was going on. The crazy thing is that all that stuff paid itself back.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying,
bro?
And so I wish I wish he would have spent. Anyway, I don't want to talk about Obama like this, but no, I'm giving Joe Biden some credit because, in the past 10, 15, 20 years, I don't think we've ever seen a bill where it's targeted to
help people.
Regular people.
Bro.
Like usually a bill gets passed and nobody cares because it's like, I'm not affected by this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like people need to start feeling affected by what is done in Washington, and then they will start, wanting to go to the polls.
Participate. Yeah, but I don't. But bro, it's just like I told you about. I just want to give a shout out while we're talking about it. Everybody needs to go to the poll. April school board elections. David Harris, District 1. It's the district that Central and McLean is in. So, and Booker T is not in the district, which is crazy. That's a whole nother conversation. But David Harris, school board, District 1. All right, but so the thing is too, though, like we say, like I know you know government better than me, man. You know what I'm saying? I always felt like I was decent at government, but I could be wrong. But has there ever been a bill that's anywhere like what this bill has been? Like, I mean, outside of like the little bills they did for like the CARES Act and the HEROES Act, I think this is probably, have we ever did anything like this since the New Deal?
No, actually we haven't. And the only,
so that's what I was thinking.
According to a report that I just saw earlier today, because this bill is actually going to be a staged bill. So the numbers that I gave you earlier, the 30, 40 million for states and all that, the 1.9 trillion that the total cost of the bill is supposed to be is not just like a one shot inject a 1.9 trillion into the economy and hope everything goes boom. No, it's a staged out bill. But according to estimates, this is actually supposed to actually cut poverty rate down by like 25%. There has never been a bill like that besides the New Deal that has attacked poverty in this country, which I think is at the core of everything. Like, you can't say you're the richest country in the world and
have this amount of poverty
and expect, yeah. And so, but I think that everything stems off of poverty, like your crime, your education, all that stuff is a stem from poverty. And that's what Martin Luther King spent the last half of his, you know what I'm saying, his message trying to actually get to
after the
equitable justice.
Yep. And after the Civil Rights Bill, that's what his focus was. I know you know that. I'm not going to say
of course. But I mean, so I give him credit for this, man. Now, I will say there's some things that I don't like, and that is the little grabby good stuff that I'm pretty sure is going to be in this bill. That
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
You hate to kind of see that, man. I really wish this bill would have been specifically about helping people, like helping schools, helping infrastructure. You know what I'm saying? Getting people the help they needed. The thing too that bothers me, man, is though, like and I know you can't do anything about it, but how much of this money is going to Texas? How much of this money is going to Oklahoma? When y'all had this terrible leadership and all these men who kept on saying, like, it's crazy that we're going to have to go and pay all these people for all the medical stuff they paid for when they was saying that this is a hoax. So, man,
how many lives are we going to have to save from people who said that they're not just going to wear a mask?
Bro, I know, you know, I know we didn't talk about it when we were talking about the All-Star game, but did you see them videos from the clubs at the All-Star game?
Oh, Lord Jesus. What's wrong with Atlanta? Oh, my God. Man, bro, they literally had people.
Bro, I was like, I would have been uncomfortable with that before. It was people on top of people on different levels on top of people. And I was like,
man, bro, I'm like, dude, Atlanta, you got to do better. Come on, ATL.
Bro,
come on.
Bro.
We got to represent better than that. That was terrible.
We're going to have another spike based off of the All-Star weekend in Texas and Mississippi.
For real. All right, man. So that's the stimulus. So if anybody needed some update and education on what we got to look forward to, that should be coming pretty soon. And I'm pretty sure, you know, people will be talking about it on Facebook and memes across Twitter, Ville, and all that stuff pretty soon once the checks start clearing.
Yeah.
All right, man. So two other things I wanted to go through, man, culture and music. We kind of running low on time here, bro. So real quick,
okay,
let's go through music real quick, man. We said
quick. You can't quick in music.
I know it's kind of rough. I know it's kind of rough, but let's try to do a quick round here, man.
Okay.
Five best women vocals.
Ooh,
female vocalists. Top 5 female vocalists.
Oh, bro, do not hold me to this list later because Gerald just told me. And I feel like I might have brought this up to him like 2 hours ago and I never thought no more about it. Like thinking like we weren't gonna have this question. So please excuse this list. Number 1, I'm going with Whitney Houston.
Okay.
I think she's the greatest female vocalist ever. I don't care what genre it is. I don't care what age it is. I would put Whitney Houston up against anybody's. Man, when we could just start specifically based off the Bodyguard soundtrack.
Oh, okay.
Jesus. Number 2. Lord. God, this is gonna be hard. Man,
now this is of all time too, though. So
I know, man, and I just like,
can we
just make it this the 90s? Can we make it from 90s and beyond?
Oh Lord, man, Z, now you're trying to get into the
give me your list.
That'd be a different story.
Give me your list.
Okay, my top 5.
Top 5.
All right, so I'm gonna go with Whitney.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with Anita.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna actually go with Sade.
Okay.
I love Sade, so I'm gonna go with this actually might be a dang of all time too.
See,
yeah,
that's where the all time throw me off, man, because I'll be like, if we talk about all time, Are we gonna talk about Patti LaBelle? Are we gonna talk about Aretha
I was gonna
Franklin?
say Aretha.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Aretha, but yeah, you know what? I'm gonna stick with all time, bro. So I'm gonna go with Whitney, Sade, Anita Baker. Even though people could probably argue because Anita really only had like 2, but dang man, I love Anita Baker,
bro.
I'm gonna go with Aretha Franklin, and I'm gonna go with Patti LaBelle.
I'm not mad at that list.
Vocalist. Even though Sade is not considered like, you know what I'm saying, that type of range.
Yeah.
Her voice to me was like so smooth. So that's my list right there. I'm sticking to it.
Bro, Whitney Houston first. Anita Baker is gonna be on my list. If you listen to "You Bring Me Joy," like the beginning of "You Bring Me Joy," you remember that, like at that very like "You Bring Me," like that. When every time I hear that, I'll be like, bro. So, and Anita Baker I love Anita Baker's. Even if it's 3 albums, whatever the 3 albums is, I love them. So she's gonna be on my list. Where I'm gonna struggle at is we said female vocalist.
I mean, you can go all the way back to like Etta.
And Etta was hard too. You know what I'm saying? And she sung for real.
Yeah.
But my thing is too, like
Mahalia,
yeah, or the Clark sisters,
man,
or bro, you know what I'm saying? Or bro, we talking about singing, so I'm gonna tell you too. Like, what about Shirley Murdoch?
I never liked Shirley Murdoch's voice.
I thought Shirley Murdoch could sing. Kelly Price, Jennifer, but Jennifer Hudson ain't got no songs, but she can sing like amazing. But back to my list.
All right, come on.
Anita Baker. Whitney Houston would have been number 1. Nobody else is in order. Beyonce would be on my list. I'm sorry, I'm gonna go with Beyonce. I'm So in Love with You. That is crazy to me. And the 1+1, the 2 song. That's
a went over Bayhive, huh? The
Beehive, dude, I'm going with it. Terrible. Layla Hathaway.
Oh,
bro, Layla Hathaway can sing in a way that's like next level.
Hey.
So
man, hey, I didn't even think about it. You're bro. You got me.
Yeah, Layla Hathaway. Then I'm gonna probably have to go with Patti LaBelle. I always love Patti LaBelle, and that's above Aretha Franklin and Gladys Knight, and I love Gladys Knight too.
I'm not mad about that at all, Z. Not mad about that at all. You know what? I'm actually gonna change up one of mine. I said Patti LaBelle, and I said Aretha Franklin. I'm gonna take Aretha Franklin off. And I'm gonna put Etta James on there.
That says a lot too, but Aretha Franklin is hard though. You know what I'm saying? Like
she is.
All right, but I didn't put her on my list either, so I'm not here to complain. So
no, I take it back. I said I'm taking Patti off. You know,
you said you were taking Aretha off.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm keeping Aretha. I'm taking Patti off, and I'm putting Etta James in there. So Patti gets taken off the list. Etta James gets added on.
Bro, I know you said we're only going to do this fast, so we're going to do this fast. Hopefully, the hope and the goal is to have one of our friends join the show here soon, and we'll revisit this conversation in detail way.
That we will. We'll have to actually give it a nice 30-minute ring on there.
Yeah, if we get
all right, man. So I actually wanted to end off with a deeper discussion, bro. Like, and we don't have to make this long because we are running out of time. But you know, I had a ever since with all the with the bill that passed. And ever since it's been in the House, and then I was watching a show. Oh gosh, I can't even remember the name of it, man. Where they were talking about the struggle, the Black struggle. But then they did a deep dive section on inequality in America.
Was it Soul of a Nation?
It could have been.
I know there's been some
there was like
on TV called Soul of a Nation that was like everybody was watching, and I did not see it. And then they've had some good PBS documentaries too about like the Black experience lately too. So I don't know if
this wasn't like a full length on literally just the Black experience.
Mm-hmm.
It went from the economic impact of inequality. That was really the whole gist of it.
Okay,
and it got me to thinking. And so, because, we marched over the summer, everything that happened with George Floyd, and, I'm saying, everybody always talks about the struggle. And I started thinking, okay, so here's the big question that I have, man.
Mm-hmm.
And they brought this up in the documentary. It says, Black folks our percentage of wealth in this country has not changed in almost over 10 decades, almost 100 years.
Yeah.
How do we change that? Is that something that can only be changed through government legislation? Is it something that we can only change through education? Is it something that we have to change through, economic policy? Like how do we attack that? I mean, because I feel like even though we are a minority in this country, we're on the tail end of that number. Like we don't account. We only account for, I think it was like less than almost 10% of total wealth in this country.
But how much spending do we?
How much spending money do we spend like crazy?
We spend more than everybody. Yeah.
So man, how do you? I mean, like, what do you think, man? Do you think that needs to be? Because I feel like if we can, because I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like again, Martin put his whole third act. You know what I'm saying? I hate to call it a third act, but the whole tail end of his life was dedicated to financial empowerment or inequality of the Black community. Not even just the Black community.
No,
he was fighting for the poor. Period.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
So, like, how do we like fix that? Like, I don't know, bro. That's why I'm asking. I guess that's a great question.
Man, we probably need to dedicate some more time to this too, like a complete answer. But I think I was watching a movie, man, and I don't know what movie it was. Golly, I was watching a movie. Anyway, it was the Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. You still ain't watched that, have you?
Nope.
Bro. Well, there was a situation that happened in the thing, and pretty much what happened was, and I think this is the beginning of the problem. I think education is a piece of the problem. I think financial literacy is a piece of the problem. Black people actually understanding and knowing about credit, I think that's a problem as well. So, and then I think the government does have to play a part in discriminatory housing. You know what I'm saying? Like people like the Donald Trumps, the things that he would do and not let Black people come to his, you know what I'm saying? And then you still see that today with Black people having their houses appraised. And if Black people are in them, the houses appraised for like $100,000. White people come and have the same house appraised and they remove the pictures and then it's like $450,000. Have you seen that?
Yeah,
so
I'm seeing that.
I've seen multiple things of that though.
Yeah.
So I think all of those points play a part into where we are. And I think, so one of the big things is, when they did the land rush here in Oklahoma, like 1907 or wherever they did the land rush, 1855, wherever they did when it was the Sooner State and everybody came and grabbed land.
Yeah.
So there were Black people. There were a lot of Black people who got land then.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And there were a lot of Black people who got land after slaves and all that stuff too. But part of the thing with the Ku Klux Klan was they would come and intimidate you. And part of their intimidation was coming and planting that cross, the burning cross in your yard or whatever.
Yeah.
And most of the times when they intimidated Black people, they would just leave where they were from and go somewhere else. So they would leave owned land and other people would claim this land or they would never have this land. Or, you know what I'm saying? Other people would force them to sell their land for cheap. You know what I'm saying? Just because they wanted to get out of town or be safe because they were intimidated so much. So I think one of the biggest things that we have in our community is we don't have land to give to other people. Like you didn't get no land from your grandfather.
It passes down.
You know what I'm saying? We haven't did anything without having that land. We haven't. How many people in Oklahoma probably got oil on the land that they have? So that income from having oil on your land, or somebody has did something on your land, that somebody brought a building, or you renting out you know what I'm saying? Like, so that extra money from your land, we don't have that. We don't have that to give away. We don't have that to send down. So I think that puts us in a different economical space to start off with, because we don't have anything to pass down. And then that's where we talk about the generational wealth, right?
Yeah.
We don't have generational wealth, man. Like my father didn't get no money from his father or his mother, you know what I'm saying? Or like, I know one of the things we talk about all the time is like one of our friends, his grandparents were into some, you know what I'm saying? They actually understood money. So they actually gave him, like, when we graduated from high school, they gave him a large sum of money. And we was like, bro, that is crazy. But he set himself up different from everybody else because he had a start that a lot of us didn't have.
Yeah.
And so And not saying that like that was the only thing. There's, you know what I'm saying? You don't learn the best money decisions. We went to college and we got all these credit cards, you know what I'm saying? Or, you know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things that we did, man, but
we still
I think
paying
the
on
biggest
student
thing,
loans, bro.
I think the student loans is killing most of us right now.
Ridiculous.
So the thing to me is, man, like we don't, and I think you see that more in the black families too. I'm sorry for jumping from thing to thing, but since black people don't really have a lot of stuff, right? So when somebody dies, black people, the way they attack the little bit of whatever is left over is crazy, because everybody is living, in my mind, I believe most of us are living check to check, and that $8,000 that Aunt Susie left, or this $12,000 house, you know what I'm saying, or $20,000 house, or a new car, you know what I'm saying, that little piece of what anybody else has, everybody is trying to get it because everybody is so day to day and check to check. And I think that's why you see so many terrible things. Because if you think about, most of the time when I see, and you know what I'm saying, working at my job, I see a lot of white people, I see a lot of black people. But when white people are saying they're fussing over money that somebody left behind, it's like money. You know what I'm saying? Like money. But when you see
something that's going
to
change your life.
Yeah, when you see black people, they fighting
Not
over.
just give you a new car.
Yeah, bro, they fighting over $20,000, $10,000. This always, to me, it's always less than 40. I've never heard anything, and I'm not saying that I know all black people and black people don't do it, but all I'm saying is in my job field, when I see people quitting their job because they got some money for somebody who died that's black, they got $20,000.
Well, see, the thing about it is, man, the thing that people are pointing to that needs to be addressed is this term called social mobility. And what that is say that, so like my family, my mom and dad growing up, they had at the time what you would consider decent jobs. You know what I'm saying? My mom was in the radiology field. My dad was actually a machinist. And so, you know, they weren't rich by any means, but they were able to afford a home.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't a large home, just a basic 3-bed, 2-bath. You know what I'm saying? Nothing major. You know how we grew up. But so we stayed in Gilcrease Hills for a little while and moved from Gilcrease Hills out east when East was popping.
Like a lot of people did.
Yeah, like a lot of people did actually. But you know what I mean? What social mobility is saying, okay, when you grew up in a household where the median income was between, you know what I'm saying, 100 to 150,000, you're actually going to take your education, your experience, and go from that 100 to 150,000 range and go to social mobility, moving up to the next range, which would be like 250 to 500,000.
Correct.
So let's just say if your family was always on the poverty line, you know what I'm saying, you want to move from the poverty line to the lower middle class line or whatever the case may be. And what, you know, what people see is that social mobility in this country is very, very hard. And so basically, I think there was a stat that came out that said, if you grew up in a family, let's say we had a single mom who was trying to raise you, and she was basically making like $40,000, $50,000 a year. Your chances of making $40,000, $50,000 a year are like 80-something%. Your chances of going and making $150,000 to $250,000 a year is less than 20%.
Yeah,
that's that social mobility. So basically, people are just repeating the same cycle over and over and over. And we always say to ourselves, we want our kids to do better than us.
Yeah.
But it hasn't been happening.
Agreed.
So, man, I just be thinking like, okay, well, how can that change, especially in our community? Because, man, man, like I think about my family, man. I think when I used to go visit my, bless her heart, my grandma when she was living, she was poor, like super poor. They grew up super poor.
Yeah.
I'm talking like outhouse poor. And so, man, like how, you know, what are some of the things that can be done for that social mobility to increase? The percent of people who can actually move up increase. And I think part of that needs to be education. Like you said earlier, teaching people about money. Like, why is it that people go to school all this time and they never learn about money? Which is, it's so insane to me.
Bro.
Like,
I got one better for you too, though. I got one better for you too. Like, and it's probably not better. I'm not gonna say better for you, but what I will tell you is too. Like, I was talking to my barber. My barber's a fireman. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And he's been a fireman since we graduated from high school.
Shout out, Courtney.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like it's a handful of people that we went to high school with that are firemen. They're all retiring in the next 2 years, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then like my one, you know what I'm saying? Some of the people I know in my family, they've retired from the military, and I'm talking about retiring from the military at 35, 36. Now, some of these people don't did some stuff that other people probably want to do, and some of these people haven't. And it's not like everybody done did 5 tours in Iraq or nothing like that, because some of them haven't. But there's a lot of people who are financially doing well coming out of armed services and firefighters. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that, where we didn't nobody told us like, hey man, no, you know what I'm saying? If you can have a great job and live a great life being a firefighter here, you know what I'm saying, and not have $70,000 worth of debt or $100,000 worth of debt from trying to go to college to get a degree. You know what I'm saying? And then think about how many people, you know what I'm saying? Think about how many people we went to school with who all got degrees and still haven't found a job in the field they went to school for, or at our age are finally finding a decent job. You know what I'm saying? Like an actual decent job where I can feel comfortable. You know what I'm saying? At our age though. So it's not, I don't waited until I was 39 to 42 to find a decent job. Now I'm gonna work this job for the next 15 years. And by the time I have
5 years before it's time to retire.
By the time I have some decent money, I'm gonna be too old to do anything with it. You know what I'm saying?
Man. Yeah. It's crazy because if I could go back and tell my 18-year-old self, man, just put in your resume here, learn that technical degree, learn that technical skill, and just do that instead of spending 4 or 5. I spent 7 years trying to get a bachelor's degree.
Yeah, bro. I spent
7 years getting a bachelor's degree. Man.
I spent 5. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get it obviously, but you know what I'm saying. And I'm really close to one. But I'm in a crazy predicament now, is where I'm so close to one, but I have that debt. So like, how do I get out of that circle? Like, how do I just get back? I can't apply and be like, hey, can y'all waive that debt? I'm gonna have to pay that off for a year to be able to, you know what I'm saying?
Be able to get
some more debt.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. And what's insane, man, is that before anybody even says anything, like I had kids, and so I would only go to school part-time for a while. But man, it's insane because the degree that I have, I'm not even using it at all. At all. Like, and then when I did use it, I'm making less than what I make right now. So I'm like, just wasted all that time. But I guess it's not a waste. I did learn some stuff, but still.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's different, man. I just wish, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, the crazy thing is, like, my dad, you know what I'm saying? My dad worked at ONG, Oklahoma Natural Gas.
ONG, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And my dad was a shop foreman, you know what I'm saying? So he was the mechanic supervisor. So he was like the big mechanic, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But my dad ended up getting this job at an oil company, at an energy company at the greatest of times. So my dad had this amazing job where he ended up getting a pension and a 401k and this and that. And then like, so now, bro, I have like, I'm not gonna say I have like an amazing job, but I have a good job. My daddy makes more money in his pension than I do at my good job. You know what I'm saying? And it's more
crazy
jobs out here no more. Remember how many, you know what I'm saying? How much we talk about that too. So I think that, bro, it's a lot. There's so many factors, but it's a lot.
It is, man. It is. I think it's a combination of legislation that needs to happen, education, and man, people just got to get informed on it, man. So, but all right, man, we've actually gone a little bit overboard.
Yep, we probably have.
Hey, it is what it is. That's what happens when you do start chopping it up with G and Z.
My bad, man. I know I did a lot too. So I apologize up front.
All right, man. Anything you want to say? Any shout outs before we get out of here, man?
Bro, go and watch United States versus Billie Holiday. Bro, it's the 4th amazing movie of this year. Go watch it.
Hey, go watch Coming to America for the 16th time. Support our people.
Oh man. I probably will.
All right, man. Well, shoot, it's been good, brother. Catch us on YouTube, on Google, Apple, and subscribe and like.
I'm telling you, Amazon too. Amazon podcast as well.
All right, cool. All right, brother. Have a good one, dog.
You too, bro.
All right.